Aloha, Rich Halverson here. This is ITS227. And in this video, I'm going to continue on in Chapter 7, 7.7, form validation. So form validation, of course, you've all experienced this. When you're filling out a form, you're supposed to fill in certain fields, and you have certain fields or certain requirements for the fields, like a zip code should be all digits and that kind of thing. And so that's what this section's about. This section, of course, we're talking about browsers where the form validation happens in the browser without the help of the server. Of course, the server still has to do form validation because you can always circumvent the browser, but it's more about reducing the load on the server, and as it says here, makes the data, the user experience, better and faster because you're not always having to go back to the server. All right, so this first section makes sure you understand what it means to validate data, and digits, number of digits, whatever checkboxes need to be checked, so on, length and so on. So make sure you understand that. Now, the most common, when we first started doing form validation in the browser, it was always upon submission. So on submit, when a form is submitted, a JavaScript program executes and it checks all the fields. So that's what this is about. And these days, you would have a over in JavaScript, you would have the form validation function. And then, of course, you would, add an event listener for when the form is submitted. That would be this. So that's validation upon form submission. And then we can also validate, or both, we can do a combination of all these things. You can validate each data field as it is entered. And so here, you, of course, would attach an event handler to, you write the event zip code check, and then you would attach, the event handler to the zip code. Here we go. This attaches the zip code. Here's the zip code, and the zip code. Oh, zip ID zip code. There we go. So this is the element ID, and this is this gives it a handle so we can refer to it and refer to the object and get at its properties and so on. And so we're going to add an event listener. It's going to be an input event listener, and when it executes, it's going to execute this code, which is this code, and that's this. All right, so that's checking each element. When there's an event having to do with a particular form element, and also what you can do is, if there is, up here, if you find out the form's not valid, then you just disallow the submit. You return a false, and it won't submit. Here, you're going to be doing a lot of data checking. It's nice to do all the data checking, do data checking as you're going. But when a fault occurs, you can call this prevent default method and cancel the form submission to keep the form from submitting to the server. And note, there's this function in JavaScript to test to see if what is in here is a number or not. So make sure you understand that concept. And then finally, you can use, there's HTML functions, built into the browser that you can use to check form elements. And you can, HTML is smart enough to know if the field is empty. There can be a min and a max, which has to do with numbers, with values. integers or whatever, and there's length. This has to do with characters or a string or something. You have minimum length and a maximum length, so you can set those as attributes like this. You can say something is required. This is numbers. This is values. These are strings, string length. And then you can also do a pattern, which is pretty cool. You can put a regular expression in here. This means starting at the beginning of the string, you need to have exactly 16 digits, and then the end of the string. So in other words, you can't have anything before the 16 digits or after the 16 digits. And if that matches, then then it matches. And then this can be used to display out like the error, like what's wrong with it. And then there's these CSS pseudo classes that exist for these input form elements, and you can have a color when a background color, for example, if what's in the text field is valid, and a different background color if what's in the text field is not valid. Same with required and whether something is optional or not. So make sure you understand all that. Exercises here to go through. Let's do this. Let's do the check challenge activities. The first one is use. Let me get here. Use the not is not a number function in the validate in this method to verify the user age and then display invalid user age on the console if it's not a number. So this is let's start it up. This is the HTML, and we have a username field here. We have a user age field here, and that's all we're looking at. Let's look at the JavaScript. Before it's a submit, it is a submit method that runs when someone clicks the submit button and executes validate form. That's this. This puts a handle on, that's my term, I guess. It puts a handle on this, on the value attribute of the underage element, where the user would type in their age. And we need to check to see if that's a number or not. If is not a number, cute, and what we're looking at is user age. If that's not a number, then output to the console. What are we outputting? I'll put that in later. And then after that, we want to do this prevent default thing, and that's going to come in here. So we just say event, whatever the event is, do this prevent default thing. Okay. And then end the if, and this function is ended. We got to put what's got to be in there, and that's this. We have to put what's got to be in there, and that is this. And let's submit. Oh, very good. Okay, what's next? All right. So we're gonna we're doing a validate form thingy. Form, user form, submit. Okay, we're doing a validate form thingy, and we're gonna do something with phone number value and the username value. Those are both text boxes, I guess. Update that to verify the phone number is exactly 10 characters. Display that if it's not, and use that. And I'm only doing phone number. Okay. Maybe in yours it'll be username. But anyway, so I'm gonna do if, let's see, what's that? It's this one. Phone number length is the property. If the phone number is exactly 10 digits, 10 characters. Oh, no, I'm sorry. If it is not exactly 10 characters, then I got to do two things. I have to console the log, phone number is invalid. And then I got to do that prevent default thingy, prevent default. And then I got to close the if. 10 exactly 10 characters long. So it's exactly the length. Exactly. What is this? What did I? Oh, wait. I have to close it using a curly Q. There we go. All right. How's this? That's wonderful. All right. What's next? I guess what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do two things. Still using validate form, phone number and username. Make sure the phone number contains a number. It's got to be a number. And the username is less than 11 characters long. Display input. The input is invalid if in the console if the phone number or username do not meet the requirements. Use the prevent default function to avoid submitting a form that is invalid. All right. So I'm gonna all right. So I guess I'm gonna do this. First of all, I got to check if the phone number that's the value already is not a number. I guess I got to do this. If is, and I'm checking NaN. If this is true that it's not a number, it's true that it's not a number, or the username length is if it's less than 3. No, let me tell you. If it's less than 11, the phone number contains a number and the username is less than 11. Oh, is not less than 11. And the username is greater than or equal to 11. Okay. So, because I want the wrong case, well, I just less than 11. And I want the not of that. So I'm going to go like this. But I'm not parentheses around this. Okay. That work? Oh, so I'm not done. If that's the case, then I'm going to print console log something. And then I'm going to do this event prevent. And I got to close the if. That look right? Oh, I gotta have one more of these. No, that's not it. Is this not, this is one thing. What's it saying? Confusing use of that. Well, that just might be confusing, but let's see if it works. I'm going to see if it works. So if it's not a phone number, or it's not the case that the username is less than 11, if either one is not true, no. Let's see if this works. Oh, I forgot to say what it says right here. All right, give me another chance. Input is invalid. All right, let's see if this works. Well, it's just fine. What they didn't like is, I really should, well, you can instead put the opposite of less than, the opposite of that is greater than or equal to. So you could take the not away and you can make this greater than or equal to, and that's not, it's Morgan's theorem. Anyway, what's next? Validate the user age field. Validate the user age field as at least 15 and at most 120. If valid, set the background of the field to valid color and assign true to the user age valid. Otherwise, set the background color to invalid color and the user valid to false. Yeah. All right, so we've got, well, whatever we have here, let's look over here. Oh my goodness, look at all this JavaScript. Okay, so we've got some colors there, and we've got some handles for the form elements themselves, not the properties of the form elements. So we got to stick the properties of the form elements onto that with a dot. And this is defaulted equals to that. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a huge O if statement, I guess. If the user age input value I think I can, do I need to parse int this? I don't think I need to parse int it. If the value is at least is greater than or equal to 15, and the user age input value is less than or equal to 120, if that's true, then I'm going to set the background color of the field to valid color. So I'm going to say user age input style background color, okay, it's just background, I guess, is equal to the valid color. And that does the style. And then I also want to set this what is that variable? User age valid equal to true. And then I need to close the if statement. So the person's got to be at least 15 to 120. Okay, so do I need to, I think I maybe need to reset it to, yeah, because each one has changed. So I otherwise, so it's false. So what happens if they first set something in there that's true, but then and then this changes to valid color, and then they put something in there that's false. This here. Oh, so this defaults it to false, and this defaults it to invalid color. Okay, so anyway, let's see if this is right. Good, it's right. All right, last one here. Use HTML validation attributes. Okay, now we're using HTML validation attributes to ensure that the ages between 18 and 99, that'd be the min and the max. I wonder if it's 19. I wonder if it's inclusive. Okay, this is inclusive, I think. And the username is max length equals 10. I think I can put a space there. Okay, is this right? I think it's right. All right, very good. And this video is already, how can I tell how long it is? Anyway, 33 minutes. Ooh. All right, so I will close this video and do another one. Thanks for watching.